So today we had the main attraction. And in this episode we have a super famous pop singer arriving in Ponyville for the Helping Hoes concert. The biggest event that they've had music-wise since the Ponypalooza rock concert. Which, if you know or don't know, the Ponypalooza rock concert was an event that was touched upon in the book series. Which means that the one book that event happened in is quite possibly canon. Although since the Ponypalooza story also included the Pie family, and I compare this to Heartbreakers, I wonder if it really is canon or not. Heartbreakers seems to imply that the book isn't canon, and the main attraction seems to be implying that the book was canon. I suppose the confusion can be cleared up by people who know the book just a little bit better. But moving along with our plot, as the concert is about to start, Pinkie Pie, through some great effort, has booked a super popular pop star, and it just so happens that this pop star is also Applejack's friend that she knew when they went to friendship camp, an equivalent of Girl Scouts or something of that nature. They got along really well, did all kinds of camp-related activities together, and they sang a song together, which is where Applejack realized that she had an amazing singing talent. She recaps some of the backstory and drops the nickname of the pop star, Rara, which is a lot easier to remember than Countess Carrara Tora. However it's pronounced. I'll just be calling her Rara from here on out, or Countess or something like that. We also find out that Sapphire Shores, the pony of pop, has been bumped down to number 2 in popularity, with Rara being the number 1 most popular. In order to book her, however, Pinkie Pie had to jump through all kinds of hoops and attain all kinds of special items. It had to be absolutely perfect to meet up with the demands and needs of Rara's manager, who had to have everything absolutely perfect or else he would lose his temper and walk away from the concert. This whole thing has been stressing Pinkie out, and the attitude of the manager in regards to what Pinkie Pie was trying to throw together to make the concert successful is very reminiscent of what the Yaks did to Pinkie Pie in the Yakistan episode. So, sort of once again, Pinkie Pie's in the stressful situation of dealing with someone who expects perfection. Of course, this time she seems to be getting things right and is just basically doing whatever the manager requires of her to do. No matter how impossible it seems, she's putting forth the effort to try and get it done because she wants the concert to be a big success. On the other side of the story, we have Applejack and Rara as they talk back and forth, and Applejack observes the things that Rara is doing as she tries to determine whether this is still her old friend that she knew from her camp days, or whether her friend has drastically changed and completely turned into a total diva. As it turns out, there is a little bit of Applejack's old friend left in this character, as she does still care about children and charity, and when the things that she cares about come into the picture, she acts like the friend that Applejack used to know. The rest of the time, she's busy being a diva and following whatever her manager suggests, until Applejack stages a situation and gets Ra-Ra to realize that the manager doesn't care about children or charity and only wants his hard work to pay off, and for Ra-Ra, through his efforts, to be the most popular pony in Equestria. This is where the manager, Swengallop, turns out to be a little bit like Sassy Saddles or Trenderhoof, only where those two characters were highly likable, this one is highly unlikable and has no redeeming qualities. After forcing him to quit or firing him, it's not sure which of those two things happened, Ra-Ra finds herself on her own without her manager or any of her technology or magic that made her first performance a major success. And through Applejack's encouragement, she manages to put on a slightly different show that still pleases the crowd and keeps herself popular and beloved by the audience. This is where the story concludes. A few observations that I've made along the line. It's nice to see the background ponies in use. Lyra and Bonbon were there, as well as a few others, and not only was Amethyst Star used, but she was performing the job that she said she was good at, of organizing major events, which is what we were told during the 100th episode, and here she is with Flipboard in hoof, organizing things that needed organizing. The finish was also there. It was nice to see her, even though she didn't have any lines. It was nice to know that she still follows major events. It was also a nice moral to teach along the way that sometimes friends that you've known for a while change over the years. As you drift apart and reunite, the person that you once knew can, upon meeting them again, be a completely different person, and it's perfectly okay and natural to have the two of you go your separate ways. It was also interesting during Ra-Ra's first performance on stage to see an auto-tune spell in effect, kind of similar to how the Canterlot Royal Voice is done. It was also interesting to see the unicorns lighting their horns up, similar to how an audience lights up lighters or glow states during a concert. All of the food requests that the manager had for Pinkie Pie were also things that we'd heard of previously in other episodes. Each item was a callback to something like Gravity Falls, or Cherry Jubilee, or Gustav and his eclairs, or the flowers from the Canterlot Garden, or a few other things that we had heard of in episodes before. So it was nice to have that tight bit of subtle continuity. The pop song that Ra-Ra sings wasn't really my kind of thing. In fact, it sounded more like what you would hear in the typical girls' cartoon series for little kids, not the quality music that we come to expect from My Little Pony. If I had seen this episode first in my Little Pony viewing, I would have probably rolled my eyes at it and just done, of course, it's a girls' series, who cares about it? But the songs that came before and after the Razzle Dazzle song did sound pretty interesting. The two later songs were very well done, and the addition of the classical instruments projected as shadows behind that piano made the concert feel a lot more like the style of concert I enjoy as opposed to the first piece, which was clearly a very modern pop music type of concert with the strobe lights and the auto-tuning and the smoke and fog and fireworks and stuff, which is the type of concert I am not a big fan of. I also tend to wonder if in all of those silhouettes, if the ponies on the classical instruments were secretly Octavia and Lyra and a few others. And I wonder if Vinyl Scratch was somewhere off screen running the Razzle Dazzle song with its smoke effects and bright lights and so forth. The CMC got treated to a little special time with Rara because of her connection with AJ, which was nice for them. We also got to see some of the other child ponies, like the one with the freaky super strength and the one with the big teeth, as well as Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. Unfortunately, they didn't have any lines to give us context for how they've been doing since their last appearance in that previous episode, but they all seem to be getting along in the background. It's also interesting to note that even Sweetie Belle seemed to like Rara, even though she had no clue who Sapphire Shores was and preferred the show tunes. Rara's name seems to be reminiscent of Lady Dada, although it could possibly also be like Zsa Zsa Gabor, possibly. Hard to say if Lady Dada will throw a fit over her name being used in a cartoon series like she has in the past. Hopefully nothing bad will come of that. Twilight's spell to record and play back Sven and his yelling at Pinkie Pie and so forth was also an interesting bit of magic, bringing magic more into the realm of technology, and it was nice to see this episode in its final form, as opposed to what we got with the animatic when we weren't quite really sure what we were watching. A lot of people thought that the pony playing the piano was Applejack in an alternate reality, or perhaps a very close relative of Applejack's, because they said the two looked similar. But that was when they were pencil drawings without color that Rara resembled Applejack. Now we can clearly see that these two ponies look nothing alike. Also, the song that they sung at the end of the episode, since the CMC were singing it along with Rara and Applejack, and it was the same song that she sang back in her camp days, it leads me to think that the song must have been relatively popular for quite a while, as the CMC didn't have to rehearse the song. They were just able to come in, be surprised, and sing the song. If they had had time to rehearse it, then that would not have been a surprise. Also, I've been spending a lot of time calling the voice actress Lena Horne. Turns out this was Lena Hall. This is the last episode Amy Keating Rogers is doing before she leaves for Disney. If I had to say what were my favorite episodes, I would go starting with my absolute favorite one, which is Crusaders of the Lost Mark. Then we go down to Pinkie Pride. Third, A Friend Indeed. Fourth, The Main Attraction. Fifth, Canterlot Boutique. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 7, Treasure of Griffinstone. 8, The Best Night Ever. 9, A Golden Pony Show. And 10, Bridal Gossip. And another thing I'd like to know is how many of you will watch the new Disney series that Amy Keating Rogers writes for? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching and good night.